going to the second meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Finance Committee. First of all, can I ask the town clerk if you've got any apologies for any absences?
Yes, Chair. Councillor Pennington has a travel commitment.
Thank you.
Can I give apologies that I have to leave?
Yes.
Come back.
Okay. Item 2, declarations of interest. Does any member have a disclosable pecuniary interest in respect to the agenda for this evening?
No.
No. Item 3, minutes of the Finance Committee meeting that was held on the 18th of December. Does anybody have any comments on those, or are happy to move to proposing their acceptance?
Happy to propose, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody happy to second?
Councillor.
And a vote? Thank you. Okay, on the action log we have 3 outstanding actions. The first is F1124.8, and that was for the Finance Officer to look again at the STBF properties and to discuss with the Property Manager if an additional amount should be built into the 25-26 budget to meet the likely required spend. The update at the last meeting was that the Property Manager was still working through the STBF assets, and an update was expected to be ready for this meeting, but it's not. So have we got an interim update from the town clerk?
Only that, obviously, capacity at the moment, and there's a lot going on, and we are all working on different elements to support the Property Manager, and the Property Manager is working on a number of projects at the moment. So, yeah.
Are we confident it will be ready for the next meeting?
Yes, it should be. Yes, it should be.
Second action again, F1124.8, and it was for the Finance Officer to discuss with Property Manager the opportunity to undertake an energy efficiency review of the Guildhall and to report back with any associated costs. Again, similar update at the last meeting that Property Manager had started the work and an update was expected to be ready for this meeting following the interim report received at last month's meeting. So we did have an interim report. It's I assume that there's further work being done to have a full report brought to this committee.
I do actually have an update
Okay.
from the Property Manager, which I buried.
Yeah, don't worry.
Property Manager said he's still working on this project. He's undertaking detailed assessments of areas that can be approved, calculating accurate costs of making the improvements, assessing the financial benefits that will follow such changes, whilst being mindful of the historic nature of the building. This is obviously talking about Guildhall.
Yeah.
I have established areas that need urgent attention and I plan to utilise our ops team to undertake some of the work which will make significant savings compared to instructing the contractor. Please bear with me on this project. I will be ready to present the plan of action for your consideration at the next Finance and General Purposes meeting. Sorry, Finance meeting. Yes.
That's brilliant. Okay with that. The final action was for the town clerk to feedback the committee's thanks to the Property Manager for the interim report on energy efficiency and the views raised on the report, and that was done. Yep.
Yes.
So that one will be closed. Okay. Agenda item 4, public participation. Do we have any written notice anybody would like to speak
No
at this meeting?
Chair.
Okay. Moving on to item 5, and we have a series of payment schedules and finances to review. I'll follow the pattern used last time, which was separating them out into different batches. So the first was to take the 3 payment schedules for approval. These are attachments 2A, 2B and 2C. Could I invite any comments on those from anybody, or whether we're happy to have them proposed for acceptance?
Happy to propose, Chairman.
Somebody happy to second? Second, Councillor Carter. Dean Carter. And vote on those.
I feel that I can't actually vote because there are confidential items. I don't know what they are.
Yes, that's a really good point. So I I did ask
You did.
about these, so
did
they
have it.
relate to salaries. I've had that confirmed. I did ask before the meeting, so they are salaries. Apologies for that.
The issue, I did write to the town clerk about
Yeah.
this, sorry, to the finance officer, and it seems to be more of a software issue.
Yeah.
But it's not picking it up correctly, because we had agreed that we would say salaries or NI contributions, but confidential.
It does say that in other transactions.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does, but not in this one.
Yes, so the RFO has reported this to
Yeah.
the Advantage and
Yes.
asked their department team if they can look at it.
Yes, she came back to me this
Yeah.
morning. Okay.
Yeah.
So in future, it won't say confidential, it will say salaries confidential.
That's what the RFO's asked, if the software team can upgrade the system. And, yeah, it's an anomaly on this particular report for some reason.
Okay, so can we go back to, we've had them proposed by Councillor P. Carter and seconded by Councillor D. Carter. Are we happy to vote on those?
So we did vote, yeah. A to C. Yeah.
So the next report we're asked to receive and approve is the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund cash book as of the 31st of December 2024. This is attachment D. Are there any questions or comments on that report? No?
Happy to propose, Mr. Chairman.
I'm happy to second.
All those in
Favour? Okay, thank you. The next set are the three bank reconciliation reports. These are attachments 2E to 2G. We're asked to receive and approve the bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund as of the 31st of December 2024. The bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall of the same date, and the bank reconciliation for the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Museum for the same date as well. Any comments on any of these three reports?
There is the question, I may be being a bear very into brain, but I'd like to know what the 40,000 from Quilter Juliet.
It's a drawdown of reserves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was approved by the trustee.
Yes.
These are only checks, they're the validation of the reconciliation, so I'm quite happy to propose those go ahead.
Thank you. Councillor Breen seconding the vote. Thank you. So the final set of the three budget variance reports, attachments 2H to 2J. We're asked to receive and approve the budget variance reports for the Tollbridge Fund for the end of December, the Tollbridge Fund Guildhall also end of December, and the budget variance report for the Tollbridge Fund Museum also for the end of December. Again, any comments on either of these? Yes, Councillor.
Yeah, I was concerned about the museum, and I did write to the RFO, and I think there seems to be more of a software issue about this, because it shows a very adverse report, which I don't think is quite correct. So she did say that she was reporting this, that it doesn't seem to be working correctly for the museum, and on the look and the face of it, the museum is hemorrhaging, but I don't think it is at all.
Can you just point out which items you're talking about?
I'm looking at the bottom line. I'm not looking at individual items.
So Councillor Backer, is there an action that you'd like to have?
No, I think I'm just really reporting that she has come back with that, and I hope that next session we will have better figures. But she did say that there seem to be some problems with the software.
Okay. And Town Clerk, is that noted, and that's something that will be
Yes,
pursued? Thank you very much. Accepting that, it's
I'm
open to propose.
quite happy to propose that we accept the figures.
Anybody happy to second? I will. Councillor Anderson seconding and voting. All in agreement, thank you. So the final attachment is 2K, that's the Quilter Cheviot report for December 2024. We're asked to receive this report. I'll open up for comments, but first I wanted to mention we had an issue raised last month about the income figure being significantly below its usual performance, and that's covered under the next agenda item. So if we can accept that that will be covered under that item. Are there any other comments on the report itself? Councillor Anderson.
Yes, well, I'm totally mystified by this report because they seem to have sold
The
the entire portfolio and they have charged us for doing that a very substantial sum. £14,819.62. So I presume that this is because we're moving the portfolio into a charity fund. So can I just continue?
Yes.
I went back to all the correspondence that we were given at the last STBF meeting to see whether there was any indication from the STBF as to whether that sort of sum would be charged. There is no indication at all. The only comparisons, the only costings that they give us are comparisons between the returns and charges for staying put and the returns and charges that would be applicable if we were in a charity trust. And here we are, they've sold everything and they've charged us nearly £15,000 to do that. Not only that, they have also bought, as they were instructed not to do, their own fund. I find this quite astonishing.
Yes. So I think a number of us.
Yeah, exactly. You've taken the words out of my mouth. I don't think it was ever made clear to us that the charity fund would indeed be a Quilter Cheviot investment fund, which is not quoted on the exchange.
Oh, well, that's an additional point to the ones that I've made.
So the other thing I would have added is that in the conversations that we had with Quilter Cheviot when they promoted this opportunity, there was no mention of any incurred costs. And in fact, I might recall, if I'm right, that it actually didn't have any costs incurred in terms of that transfer and setting it up, but that would need to be
It's not mentioned in the correspondence.
No, and I think the question was actually asked in the session that we had.
It was.
I'm sorry if I may just finish off by saying they did charge us 3,000, or just short of 3,800 for the inconvenience of buying their own fund.
It is. So Town Clerk, do you have any advice in terms of how we take this forward with Quilter Cheviot, because it isn't really acceptable, and we're getting that shared thoughts from others.
I was going to actually ask a similar thing. I think these questions should be gathered up and sent through to Quilter Cheviot, because with all due respects, with their spreadsheets laid out here, it isn't 100% clear, and I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but to send the questions from Councillor Anderson and Councillor Bream, I think should be. I'm proposing that we do send those queries to them immediately tomorrow morning and ask for answers on them immediately. And if the answers aren't suitable, I think we should put in for full refunds immediately.
Can I take a view from the Town Clerk on this?
So I will, obviously I've made a note of what you've raised this evening. I'll take that to the RFO in the morning and we'll compile an email to go off on behalf of.
And I'll be available to have a look at it as well. Okay. Very worrying. But let's hope we've got a good explanation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Feels like we've been taken for a
It
ride.
does. Yeah, but let's find out if we have quickly. Then also, Councillor Breen has included Sandwich Torbridge Fund investments sheet, which I think is really good. And I'd just like to take any comments on this. I've got a couple of comments, but I'll let others first comment. Unless do you want to talk about it, Councillor Breen?
Well, I thought it would be useful to actually table it all out.
Yeah.
And my thanks as ever to the RFO for providing some of the kind of the background data. And it's just when you look at it like this, you can actually see in total, because it takes away kind of some of the emotion.
Yeah.
We're getting an average of 3.79% return. The average portfolio value is 1,960,000, and we really started off with 1,850,000, and it's really hovered around then, because in that time we've taken out nearly £2 million or £1.2 million from reserves and had £634,000 of dividend.
Yeah.
So it just paints the picture.
Indeed. I just wanted to thank Councillor Breen for this, because I think this is an excellent. Do you know, in all my years on this Torbridge Fund, I don't think I've ever seen anybody bring this forward. So this is an excellent piece of work, and I thank you for it. It does paint a very clear picture of where we are, and I think it reinforces what Councillor Ungerson said. You know, with that 3.79% average, does actually show us the true picture.
Yes, but just remember that at the end of the day, the value of the fund, or the return, is a combination of the percentage of the dividend and the growth in the value of the portfolio.
Yeah.
So the fact is that the portfolio has grown by 1.2 million, pounds, and if we'd have had that 1.2 million invested and hadn't taken it out, the portfolio would probably be worth well over 4 million now.
That's correct. So, and that leads me on to a couple of comments I had, Councillor Breen. So, what might be helpful, and maybe a working group exercise, and I'm hoping you're wanting feedback about how we may build on it a bit. So, when I looked at this, if I looked at just the inflation rate and I then made reference to the governance documents for the charity, with that stating that the fund should be protected in light of inflation, the fund today, without all the transactions around it, should be sitting in excess of 3 million from the starting point. And that's excluding the additional bits that have come in. So that's where it should have been, and it should be much higher because of the additional amounts that have come in. Which leads me on to the second point. It would be good to also include some commentary about the exceptional activities, like, for example, the transfer-ins that have happened. So just having a little bit more detail without it being a book. It's just understanding the history, because hopefully this is really good. There might be a couple of bits to add in. And also, the quarter costs would be helpful as well, I think, if we were able to show those for each year as well. It'd be interesting to see if their costs have increased each year in line or in excess of inflation.
Okay, well, yes, it's
It's
a
just
starting point to do these types of things.
Yeah. So I'm happy to drop those as bullets to you, and we can make
Yeah,
some
no,
working.
well, I've got some of the commentary on the numbers, but I haven't looked at service charges. And that was the 3.79 is the average inflation rate.
Yeah.
But what's really noticeable is that what's changed over the last few years, the inflation rate has really jumped. In 22-23, inflation rate 11.6%.
Yeah.
And these are the types of things that have changed that make us need to take action.
And that's the point. Sorry, just to repeat my what I did. I took the 1.621 investment at the outset, and then I took the inflation rates that you provided helpfully, and then applied that year on year on year. That 1.62 today should be worth 3.03 million, and it's not.
I'm just struck by the 260,000 that was taken out in 21.
Yes. And it's under. Well, that's my point about a little bit of narrative to understand what that was for. That might have been the year of the boiler.
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
But it's still then 160,000.
Yes,
It's a discount boiler.
yeah,
And that's high,
it is.
relatively. I mean, I know we took 140,000 in 2019. It is. I can think of a narrative, and I think it's probably an accurate one.
Yeah,
But it's a bubble above my head.
but I think that will add value is understanding those events that have been triggered by previous administrations.
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to just say, sorry, Chair, that I do think this administration has been the only one that has actually buckled down to understand and, as Councillor Breen has done, bring fresh evidence of where we really are,
Yeah.
and to give a true picture. I think in the past, I think it was a case of quid pro quo, which is just continuing, or status quo, rather that it was just glossed over and accepted. So, and I remember when we went across to Quilter Cheviot, and they came in, made the presentation. To my knowledge, we didn't get presentations from free providers, when we should have done. It was all done on recommendation, and it shouldn't have been.
Okay, so can I just close off this agenda item with the vote to accept the report? Is somebody happy to do that?
Happy to propose.
And Councillor Green second. Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 6, I'd like to ask whether the town clerk's happy to cover this report in terms of fluctuating investment.
Thank you. Yes, so the responsible finance officer has put this report together for you, and this is hopefully to explain the fluctuating investment income received from Quilter. It was mentioned in the December Finance Committee meeting that the investment income received in December 2024 was only £843.53. The RFO has contacted Quilter about this dip, and they have responded saying that upon further review, one of the infrastructure funds, the International Public Partnerships, have changed their payment date from November to December, and this accounts for the differential. November's dividends have already been paid out to you in the £843 payment. Dividends for the month of December equate to circa £4,000. However, 2 dividends are paid on the 31st of the month, which is post when they transfer the income across. Thus, you can expect a payment of circa £880 on the 29th of December, and then a larger payment of circa £5,000 at the end of January. The payment of £2,880 mentioned in the above paragraph was included within the December investment income, which was received at the start of January, and this is part of the £5,446.45. A larger payment should be received from the International Public Partnerships Fund within the January investment income, to be received into the Tollbridge bank account at the start of February. The income is then demonstrated in a table from Quilter in 24-25 to date and 23-24 for reference. And as you can see, the income levels for April to January 2024 to 2025 are above those of 2023-2024 for the same period, and so the income should exceed £40,697 for 24-25.
Sorry, just say that again, 40,000.
Oh, sorry. So 40,697 is that, and that was the income for the same period, 23-24, and what the RFO is saying, the income for 24-25 should exceed that 40,697.
Okay, well, if I may just comment, we do need it to exceed it because we've got 45,000 budgeted to receive this year, so we need it to be up 10% on that figure. So,
That's correct.
And from the figures that are indicated, that will be possibly the percentage roughly that it will hit in terms of what they're suggesting. So We may be okay. Maybe okay. Any other comments? No? So we're asked to note this report.
Yeah.
We have to propose that we note
I'm
it.
happy to propose to note it and thank those that
Yeah.
drafted it.
Good point. Seconded by Councillor Green. Happy to note. Thank you very much. Last item is date and time of the next meeting, and that's Wednesday, the 19th of February, and again we'll follow the Finance and General Purposes Committee. Thank you very much.
Meeting closed.
Well done,
Meeting's closed.
Chairman.